Hello, my friends. This is not a regularly scheduled live stream. We're making up for the live stream we were going to have yesterday. We had to reschedule for today. And for that reason, people that don't normally get to see the early access chart drawings, they'll have a little bit of a peek at what we have as far as chart drawings through the early access membership. And so what I'm seeing, guys, well, first off, on the 24th, let's look at this day and see how it went. It wasn't the best day, and this is particularly one of the reasons why I don't like to trade during retrograde. Why I do my very, very best to refrain from trading personally during retrograde. It just, so many things can go wrong. It's crazy. We did have this drop here, see, but I read it as like a sharper drop than it was. And then we had this sideways fluctuating rally preceding a decline. It's just that chariot card went way further into time than I would have expected. That's plus or minus an hour or two of wiggle room. If you're new to the channel, the ESO meta-analysis, one of the things you need to understand is that ESO meta-analysis was designed to predict chart behavior and timing. It was not designed to predict price levels. And with that said, it's the timing and sequence of chart events is the most important aspect of the reading. What I mean by that is, on a one-day reading, we have these cards going left to right across the screen. I call those timeline cards, and on a one-day reading, they're basically all of them, almost all of them, represent 1 hour of time. The thing is that not each card's energy will necessarily line up perfectly with 1 hour time, and for that, there are going to be cases where the timing needs plus or minus an hour or two of wiggle room. It doesn't happen all the time. But today's a good example of that. This is also the main reason why I don't recommend trading this information, guys. You should really only be trading this information with the guidance of our early access subscription, where we get into the live Discord trade alerts, day trades for SPY. Anyhow, so we had this sideways fluctuating rally preceding a decline. We had this sideways rotation, and then a big move to the upside. Now, I was expecting that big move to the upside to happen a lot sooner. I was looking for this opportunity here between 2 and 3. I was looking for it here, and it looks like we missed it. Didn't look like we came down far enough. So I advised for the day, based on that, best thing to do would be just to wait for tomorrow, where we're looking for a sharp drop around the open, probably out of the open at key resistance, sharp drop through multiple support levels on a one-day chart. Scale of a one-day chart, I should say. And then I would look to open up a partial long there with the expectation to close out of that long midday between like 1 and 2 at key technical price level of resistance. It'll be important most likely on a one-year chart scale. It is possible that the Ace of Swords and the Science card are two separate price levels. It is possible. I think probably what's happening is we meet the Ace of Swords, decline from it, and then return to it and actually break through it with that Science card. Even so, we had a high here at the end of the day. And overall, the Empress card tends to be a bullish card, chart-wise. If you're new to the channel, guys, we have a website, tarotfortraders.com. It's probably got the most detailed content regarding how to read tarot cards in relation to trading stocks and crypto. Specific to trading, not like some broad generalization, but like specific to charts and fundamentals and things like that. Highly recommend checking it out. All of the card information is free. I mean, there's a lot more that's in the book. However, I don't think we'll be selling the book in the near future. Want to keep it rare. But you would just create a username and password, super easy. And then you click on tarot cards, and there's you just click any one of these cards and it gives you information that was compiled by looking at a tarot card, looking at a stock chart, looking at a tarot card, looking at a stock chart, looking at a tarot card, looking at a stock chart, on repeat for 26 years, basically. Doesn't get more accurate. And so what we're going to go over, guys, is just a general expectation here on a multi-day scale for SPY, and then we'll cover Bitcoin as well. Then we're going to get into question and answers. There's two ways that you can ask questions on these live streams. One is to subscribe or become a member of our YouTube channel, Tarot for Traders. That's $50 a month, gets you unlimited questions on any of our live streams and a supporter badge next to your name. And then the other way is if you have one of our paid subscriptions through the website Tarot for Traders. That gets you access to the Discord live streams question channel where people ask questions throughout the week and we answer them on the next available live stream. So if you didn't catch what we were talking about on Discord, I do sense very, very likely we've got a higher high here on the 26th. That was an alternate, so it's either going to be the same high or a higher one, but my sense is tomorrow we open lower, or we're lower at some point, and then we should have another big move to the upside out of that trough. And these are examples of those chart drawings. This is not like based on a multi-day scale. When you get into the one-day charts, we get much more detailed. I only draw on these charts when I see things to draw. It's not like it's guaranteed every day. We usually do it, but there'll be plenty of times where it's like, there's not a really clear trade. Better to miss a trade that wasn't clear than it is to hop in a trade that's unclear and then end up losing money, you know? But my sense is that the lows for the month are definitely behind us. There was some trepidation of an alternate with lows here towards the second half of the month, but that didn't pan out. It panned out as expected instead. So I was expecting a move higher from a lower position. So hopefully people got into partial longs here back in March on the 11th as advised by the ellipse there. Either way, you basically we're within price range where you could exit out if you're looking for a near-term gain for SPY, or you can hold it because I do feel like we go higher into April. All right, so for Bitcoin, man, these cryptos are being so sneaky lately. So we did just tap that. This ellipse was put here February 27th. This ellipse was put here February 27th. I just updated this to kind of like narrow in on the range. And this is likely where we have the high for the month. We're really, really close to that happening. Sometimes you'll need to cut out like something like this at the very edge of a reading time frame. But I think we're probably going to break through this purple line, at least temporarily there, around the 25th. So likely a pretty big move. Huh. I expect more of a move here just based on the placement of some of these things. Oh man, I definitely missed that. That was a low right there, and I missed that. 10th, 11th. I had it for the 11th, 12th, so I wasn't far, but there was another one in there really. Not our finest prediction. You can see I gray out the ellipses now if they end up failing, but you can see how for the most part, like this even tapped it, just tapped into that territory. Sometimes that happens, but for the most part these are pretty accurate. The bigger the time frame of the bigger the scale of the ellipse, the greater the time frame of the reading that it's based, or whose information it's based upon. And as the ellipses start to overlap and get smaller, the smaller the ellipse, the more dark the ellipse, the more likely location of things taking place. And you can see like here, I got it on the 1 year chart scale. On the 1 month scale, I needed a couple days wiggle room, and that's because not each card's energy will line up perfectly with 1 day of time on a crypto reading. Sometimes you need to give it plus or minus a day or two or three. It's a sequence of chart events as outlined by the prediction. So people were probably still on point and up to date with what our expectations are, even though missing this if they had access to the monthly access subscription. I'll show you guys how to get that stuff at the end of the video. If you're serious about trading this information, you got to have that stuff, really. But I do expect more movement to the upside here based on that. And as we enter into April, it does appear like we're going to go higher. Rally increasing with momentum moving forward in time, pushing the upper end of a range higher. And I think we probably end up in here. This is all monthly access information you don't normally see. Just kind of giving you guys an idea. And you can see, look, I was off with this ellipse. I was off with this ellipse. I was off with this ellipse. But the majority of these ellipses, we were on point. Look what we got back down here, all the ones that we were doing in October. And that's kind of how it goes. Sometimes they come in bursts. Sometimes it's once every now and again. And the reason being is that I don't like to just poop out information. Oh, this is a trade. This is a trade. I try to be selective and stick to the trades that are clear, because sometimes I see multiple variations of something, which makes for a risky trade. I like to do the trades when I see backup exits and I see one clear possible entry. Anyhow, so that's all stuff you get with the monthly access subscription. Now let's get into the live stream questions on our Discord. Will hymns reach $50 in March or $40 in March? And Ruccio, I presume that you're just reiterating the answers to those questions from the previous live stream and that you're not re-asking. So hymns, will hymns reach $50 in March? Rule of thumb when you're asking questions for psychic information, guys, you want to be as concise as possible. It's often better to ask one question, and then ask another question after that question. But asking two questions together, it's not as concise. It's not as focused of a question. And why is that important? Because the more focused and concise the question, the less alternate variations of what the question could have been asking, the clearer and more focused and accurate the answer to that question will be. They mirror each other's accuracy. So I like to take these purple lines and utilize them. They seem to be synchronistic. In what I mean by that is with the purple lines, I don't necessarily intend to mark off important price levels, but often that's exactly what they end up doing. Like, I just moved that from here. Look at that. That was a super, super important price level. We were sideways Z, broke out through it, established support along it, and then spiked to the upside. So very, very important. And that was based on not that price level so much, but on a question. So it just kind of ends up landing there. It's very interesting like that. When you're developing psychic abilities, something to keep in mind is that we often... Oof. I got a yes for 40. I got a no for 50. But what'll happen is we'll likely decline from 40. And the decline from 40 will offer more a buy opportunity before we go to 50. We probably see that. If we're going to see 50, it's probably in April. Let's see. So if you're just hopping on, guys, we're in the question and answers portion of the live stream that we do regularly. Normally it's 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. It might get capped off around this resistance here. I don't think it makes it to 50 in April. It probably makes it to like 45, actually, something like that. Around there. So almost, but it's probably capped off here in April. Just a reminder to everybody, the whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. It occurred to me when I had my near-death experience on Wall Street. I was a Wall Street broker back in like 2006, 2007. The biggest bull run in history before the biggest crash in history. You know, all that stuff, and I had a full-blown awakening there, and it occurred to me that everything happens for a reason. Even though I didn't belong on Wall Street, I was there for a reason. And I started thinking, it was like, hey, if I could find a way to use this gift to transmute that competitive energy, that toxic competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill, we could really make the world a better place. And with your help, guys, the whole purpose of the channel, we're able to accomplish that. So what you do is you go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits from all profitable trades should be donated forward to one of these charities. We're expecting you to do this. We're not like, oh, okay, if you want to. It's an expectation, guys. Honor rule. And 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel through one of these links. It leaves you at 90%. So you've effectively paid it forward, kept the flow of abundance onward through the universe. You've effectively expressed gratitude. Gratitude begets gratitude. And by keeping a clear conscience and spending that money out of love, you've kept a clear conscience. All of those are necessary components for a successful manifestation of wealth and basically anything else. And so the universe, for you following through on those rules, will send it back to you tenfold for following through as what we call an angel investor of the channel. Not to mention, you'll definitely, I'll take notice. I'll definitely know who you are, because those are the people that I really like to know. The ones with the strongest integrity, following honor code. All right, guys, so let's get back into it. We're doing questions and answers. If you're new to the channel, there's two ways that you can ask questions on these live streams. One is to join the YouTube channel Tarot for Traders, $50 a month as a supporter, gets you a supporter badge, and you can ask as many questions as you want. Or if you've got one of the paid subscriptions on our website, Tarot for Traders, it gives you access to this live streams questions channel where people drop questions throughout the week and they're answered on the next available live stream. All right, so Lenzo, we've got, are these good investments? So at this current date, not on the 22nd, but today, at this current date, or should we say tomorrow? Is tomorrow, at price levels tomorrow, are the following tickers good investments or buy opportunities? Wow, I got a yes for all four of those. TER, and MDLZ are probably the strongest of the four, and of those two, MDLZ is probably the strongest of the four. Sorry, guys, my camera went out for a minute. Very Mercury retrograde-esque. Will PLTR reach 120 before end of March? I'm gonna get some stuff into PLTR very as soon as I can, guys. Now that I've got these March readings almost behind me, I'm going to get into some PLTR stuff for the total access people, because I know there's a couple total access people that are interested in that. And bear with us, guys. A lot of the one-year readings at the total access, they're on the list for total access. A lot of those one-year readings were conducted well before we had Discord, meaning that we haven't even gotten to them to update them on the Discord with trading view charts and stuff like that. They just were done so long ago. To do them all at once is an immense amount of work, but to do them organically as they become something that we're paying attention to is a lot more realistic. So as we move forward in time, that total access area is going to get packed a lot more with data. So PLTR will reach 120 before the end of March 2025. This is one that we were super, super bullish on in 2024, FYI, and look what happened to it. Freaking exploded. I know there's people watching this channel right now that invested in PLTR based on this channel, so hopefully you guys remember where that came from. And when you do eventually sell, we see some rule of karma from that. Honor code, my friends. So 120 by the end of March, that might be a little aggressive. Let's see what the cards have to say. Like, here's an example, the PLTR reading for 2025. We don't even have a PLTR for 2025. I've got to do that. I'm writing that down. It's one of the last 2025s that we're going to do. We've got QB something something. It's one of those quantums, and we've got Doge 2025 coming out. Time is running out to order 2025s, guys, because I don't like to do them when it's already 2025. But this is one that I need to make sure that we have PLTR 2025, and I'll do 2026 as well in tandem with it. Something also, guys, just to throw in there before I forget, something that's been on my radar the last couple of days from my sidear, I should say. In other words, I've been getting quite a few psychic impressions for MGM, so I would keep an eye on MGM. Probably a good buy opportunity in there. All right, so PLTR, does it go to 120 before March? I gotta know. Does it hit 120 in April? I got a yes. So in April, we should see 120. Wow, my camera's really annoying me right now. Keeps going out. So this is another example, guys, of the type of stuff that you get as part of this would be in total access PLTR. And for those of you that are new, red ellipses indicating where we see reversals or buy opportunities. Green ellipses where we see reversals to the downside, sell opportunities or short opportunities. The darker the ellipse, the smaller the ellipse, the more likely the probability of the price level reaching that terrain. Can I pinpoint the date for the whipsaw between March and April that you see for everything? Should we keep some cash on the side and get out of the margin plays in case we get trapped in the margin call before April highs? I mean, it's always best to protect capital, Jen. Always best to protect capital. That's something that took me a long time to learn as a trader, because you can always make more profits. Like, okay, you missed the profits today, but you've got your capital. You can always go and use it to make profits any other day, right? But if you lose that money, eventually you run out of money completely and then you're done, right? So protect capital, rule number one. If there's high risk, something like that, I would position for something along those lines, you know? Can I pinpoint the dates of it? Probably I haven't pinpointed the dates for it because it's not clear. Which, you guys are funny. You always ask me these questions, and it's like, I would have answered that if I could see it, you know? People are funny sometimes. Oh, wait, no, I want this one. So part of the reason why I think there's probably a whipsaw here is because I'm getting lows here, highs and lows here, but very, very, very often lows here on the 8th in a lot of the equity readings. But from the standpoint of watching Mercury retrograde in relation to the S&P 500 for like since 2007, basically, that's 3 times a year, 2007, there's a definite pattern that's relied upon. And that would, the pattern would basically mean that we've got highs here rather than lows around the 7th. But that's just it. It may be that there's like a high followed by a sharp drop, like into lows, and then maybe even a high back based on this. So probably around like probably the first two weeks or the first week and a half of April is going to be whipsawing, with probably the biggest whipsaw taking place around the 7th, 8th, maybe again on the 9th. Because when I was talking about when you're developing psychic abilities, it's important to remember that it's not either or, it's often and we think in either or. Very, you know, especially when we're coming out of like the non-psychic threshold of mentality, you know, either or is very, very likely what'll get you into trouble when trying to find an accurate prediction. Because if you're seeing either or, it's almost certainly going to be a blend of both and an and, right? That's why I see whipsaw here. Hopefully that makes sense. Will Mr. reach $400 in March or in April? I'll do that in a minute. Mr. to 400 in March. I got a no for that. Will it go to 400 in April? I got a no for April as well. Hey, Water Art, will the revisiting of the lows for SPX in April create a lower low than that of March? There are extreme violence warlike transits on April 4th and April 10th through the 13th and April 25th through the 26th. Are any of these dates syncing up with anything that you are seeing in the market or otherwise? Well, I was actually seeing in April some sort of like de-escalation militarily. So maybe there's like the end of some things and then a de-escalation. I mean, I'm seeing based on what I see with stocks and with USO, the oil ETF. What they're doing in April, my sense is that there's probably some sort of de-escalation, but that's kind of like conjecture based on chart behavior. Like I see the chart behavior and I presume that there's a de-escalation based on what the charts are going to do. Hopefully that makes sense. Like what I see the charts doing are predictions, and me thinking that it has to do with a de-escalation militarily is my assumption based on predictions. Hopefully that makes that clear what I mean by that. I'd be interested to look at USO. USO is another ticker that's covered by our monthly access subscription, meaning that there's a Discord trade alert channel where we alert day trade, or not day trades, swing trades. There's also chart drawings, as you can see. Here are some examples. Just updated, added this one here today. This became fail, but the bigger one not so much. So we're almost right on point there. And if people are following along with the advice of the monthly access subscription, then they entered into a long position at these levels. If they got in right here, they'd probably just get breaking even now, but should still be fine. If they got in a little bit later, more likely they're in good standing right now. And even if they got in here by April, we should be good, as long as they don't have like options that expire before then or something. So those dates, you also get the timing to the day of the highest high and lowest low for the month for all of those cryptos and tickers that are in the monthly access subscription. April 4th, April 10th, and the 13th. Yeah, actually, that's where I'm seeing spikes in USOs around the open. My computer's bugging out a little bit here. God, such Mercury retrograde stuff. You can count on it, guys. Something that I pick up on a long time ago is when I experience technical issues or technical difficulties with internet or like this type of weird stuff where my computer's not like working smoothly like it normally is, and it's during retrograde, it's almost a sure sign of volatility following in the next morning. Yeah, so there's like a whipsaw kind of thing going on around the first second, with like this unexpected move to the upside into a prominent peak on the second, probably a highest high thus far. We're talking about USO. And then we have another high, probably a highest high thus far, around the 8th. And then there seems to be some sort of de-escalation after that. Often what you'll see are the results in real world of astrological influences. Often you'll see the results, like if it's like got a big orb around it, you'll see the results ahead of the actual astrological event often. Or you'll see the influence of the astrological event, like you'll see it as we lead into the astrological signature. The 25th and the 26th. Probably the 26th. Probably the 26th. And not necessarily as crazy as like whatever goes on earlier in the month. All right, guys, I'm going to cap the questions here. I'm going to show you after I answer the last of these questions. I'll show you guys how to get the monthly access subscription and the early access subscription, which are game-changing services. If you plan to actually trade this information, you must have access to the Discord trade alerts. I do not advise going at this alone and using just the public versions of the videos. Those are guides of our expectations. But if you've been watching, there's times where the timing is off, plus or minus a little bit. And without the experience of somebody who's been doing this for 26 years, you're going to get into trouble. So just don't do it. Use it as a guide. You want to trade this information, get on the channel. I mean, with an account under 5K, I made 20 times what the monthly access subscription charges per month in the last 2 weeks. Like, you know, so just do it. Like, don't be a bonehead. All right, so, and I'll show you guys how to do that after this. Will Bitcoin's lowest low in April be higher than March? See, this is the type of price level question that is suitable for SO meta-analysis, FYI. When people are like, oh, can you give me a price, give me a number? That's not really suitable for SO meta-analysis. I can use classical yes or no answers to deduce that, but this is a much more suitable question. And based on the 1 year, I really don't see a lower price in April for Bitcoin than in March. I think we probably see lower prices than where we currently are at some point in 2025, but it's more in like the second half. We've probably seen the low for the first half of the year. Probably seen the low. Hey, yo. Oh, will XLM reach $1 in 2025? The multi-year reading that I did for Stellar Coin, the shuffle file was done back in December 9th of 2022. You can find this video on YouTube, or if you're in the total access, you can always request that I put it on there. If there's something that you guys need that's not up, you can always ask me and I'll let you know if I've got it or not. If you're total access. For whatever reason, it's not opening. Great. All right, we're going to use the video then. Here we go. So this was back in 2022. Where we were expecting this some sideways rotation ahead in 2023 with a fast sudden move higher ending that sideways rotation. Let's see what happened. Sideways rotation, ending with a fast sudden move higher. A little bit later than I would have expected, but there you go. It did take place. Sideways rotation, fast ending with fast sudden move higher. So now, as far as the, I wish I had the a photo image, but it's not loading. Just more of this nonsense that's going on because of retrograde. But anyhow, so we should have this like 3 pokes through the same trend line, followed by a sharp drop. One, two, three, right there, followed by a sharp drop. Right, so 1, 2, 3, sharp drop from the third poke. That's the sorrow card pattern in action. And now we should see bumping along resistance sideways. So we're probably going to turn around and move to the upside here in 2025 based on where we are. It is possible that we do go lower beforehand because the RSI was so high here. It's possible we still have a little bit of a ways to go to the downside, but this wouldn't be an awful place to be long. I just wouldn't want to be holding a full position. I don't want to have a lot of cash on the side to buy when we have, if we do go lower. And if we don't, then, you know, hey, just great profit with whatever you did work with, you know. That's a smart move, the smart maneuver. But will it go to $1? Was the question. Will it go to $1 in 2025? I got a yes, but it's the prudence card. That makes me, like, I don't like to get the prudence card as a yes. It looks like it just misses $1. Like, it's almost at $1, but not quite. The smart plays, if you're long in this, you wouldn't want to wait for $1, even if we predicted $1. The smart trader is going to do the smart trade and not be like, oh, well, psychic Adam is right all the time. He's, you know, the Yoda of the stock market. No, it's tempting to think that, but I'm not, my friends. I have higher accuracy than anybody that I know in the world. That doesn't mean I'm right all the time. So you'll see it. You'll see it every now and again. So maybe like, oh man, I was killing it. And then I bet big and it went sour. Just that happens with this type of energy, right? It's karmic. So don't do something silly and bet a bunch of money irresponsibly thinking that it's going to be the time that you blow it big. Make the smart trades, the small, consistent trades, and make the smart decisions. And when you make the smart decisions, protecting your capital and expecting bad scenarios to unfold so you protect your capital over risk it. When you play it like that, you survive long enough for those unexpected huge gains to show up for you without you trying. Hopefully that makes sense. When you shoot for those unexpected gains, you won't get them 90% of the time. Play it safe. They'll show up when the time is right. So I would probably exit here. If I was long, I'd exit around 70. I'm going to see. Do we go to 90 cents? Let's see. Yeah, see, I'm getting 80 cents is where we head to. So I wouldn't count on $1. I would count on 80 cents. It's a much safer, more realistic exit. And really, anywhere in here, if you're looking to exit in 2025, Yeah, because my sense, this was done, the XLM multi-year reading was done, God, I told you, back in 2022, so long ago that like the system has updated since then, but there's a good chance we've got a multi-year high on the cusp of 26, 27. So if you don't want to wait or you don't want to risk it, well, we might actually have a multi-year high on the cusp of 2025, 2026, actually. But if you need to take profits on the near term in 2025, you probably would want to exit here. Or if you hold it longer, you probably get more gain. But again, the longer you hold your investment in the market, the more likely you are to lose that investment. It's just law of probability. If you're new to the channel, green ellipses are generally where we want to take profits or where we see highs of some kind. Hey, yo. Can I take a look at Trump coin for the rest of March? Guys, if you're just hopping on, questions, new questions have been cut off. Just 2 questions left here. But for future reference, you can always go to our YouTube channel, Tarot for Traders, sign up as a supporter for the supporter badge, $50 a month. Gets you unlimited questions on these live streams. Or if you're a monthly access subscriber, or an early access subscriber, or a total access subscriber on our website, Tarot for Traders, you have access to this live streams questions channel where you can ask questions throughout the week and we answer them on the next available. So Trump coin for the rest of March. I'm going to use today's chart behavior. I'm going to throw a card for today so that I have an idea of how accurate this will be. Kind of like a litmus test of accuracy. So overall for the remainder of March, it's a period of volatility that will end with a fast, sudden move higher. And if you're hopping on, I'm doing this for Trump coin. I'm just using Bitcoin reading as a reference for the dates. Let's do that again. Trump coin for the remainder of March. Yeah, it's volatile. I see a move higher, a move lower. So probably some volatility, but at least one notable move to the upside. And that move to the upside is probably retraced. That's kind of the overall trend. But for today, big move to the upside, pushing the upper end of a range higher. Is this one that we didn't have a... I guess it just doesn't really have a chart yet. Weird. But anyhow, for today, a big push to the upside. On the 26th, unicursal hexagram. So from this big move to the upside, we're going to have a huge move lower. 27th, resistance level on a multi-day scale is highlighted. We decline from it and then return to it in the not-too-distant future. It could be the same day or it could be in one of the next few days. An important support level on a one-year chart scale highlighted on the 29th. On the 30th, a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. And on the 31st, we have a decline to and through support to meet another support. Rotate sideways along that second support into the following month. This overall looks bearish to me. This overall looks bearish to me. The first few days, we see some bullish behavior today into tomorrow maybe, and then a big whipsaw to the downside, then probably a back to resistance that we established today. We'll probably see it again on Wednesday. But then it gets pretty wild and more so to the downside than to the upside. All right, last question. Matter of fact, let me make sure there's nobody asking questions on the... Okay, we're good. Last question. Hey, Water Art, based on the current price, which stock will offer the highest rate of return in 2025? Riot or Coin or Mister? I think we've answered this one. Somebody else asked a similar question. I mean, it was a while ago. Worth another ask. But this is actually not that uncommon of a question. From current price. And I like how... See how Water Art stated based on current price? Sometimes people just they just ask this question and it's got nothing to be relative to, no time frame. Like, is the stock going to be a good investment, period? You know, like, I mean, okay, you can ask that, but like, it's how helpful is that? How about, is the stock going to be a good buy at the current price level? It's much more specified, focused, concise, and with that you get a much more specified, focused, and concise answer. All right, so let's see. Rate of return from current prices. It looks like it's going to be Riot. Not Mister. Definitely not Mister. Looks like it's going to be Riot. Coin might come close, but it's after some pretty ugly behavior. I would go with Riot out of those three. And that's it for the early access or the live stream questions on our Discord. Much love and appreciation, everybody watching. I'm going to show you guys how to get those game-changing services now. So you go to our website, Tarot for Traders, hover over Order Now, click on Subscriptions, and the early access subscription currently, this is $100 a month, guys. The prices are going to change. Stuff is going to go up in price come the end of retrograde. So if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on one of these, I highly recommend doing it before the price goes up, because you'll have that price for the lifetime of the subscription. Early access, $100 right now, and it gets you the earliest access to any of our public posts right here on the early access videos. They drop here well before they come out on YouTube. Gets you the live stream questions. It gets you the SPY day trade charts, day trade alerts, and live trading view chart links with the chart drawings. And you can ask as many questions as you want. Monthly access gets you all that. Plus, it gets you an alert channel for each of these tickers and crypto symbols. And you get the reading, just like we have these readings that we're looking at now, like a monthly reading with day-by-day sequence of chart events. You get that every month for all of those tickers in crypto, as well as the timing is the highest high and the lowest low to the day. But the most important aspect of these subscriptions is going to be that you get the Discord trade alerts and live trading view chart drawings, and the ability to ask me questions basically at any time of day of any day of the week. And that's really the only way that you should be trading this information. It is not as simple as it looks. It took me a long time to figure that out. Learn from my failures, or benefit from the failures and the lessons I learned, so you don't have to learn those lessons, my friends. But it definitely highly recommended. The monthly access is currently $300. That's probably going up in price relatively soon as well. So those are both a steal right now. And if you're interested in a multi-year reading like we were looking at XLM, you can actually order those. It's one of the less expensive things on our site. You go to Order Now, click on Custom Readings. It's the multi-year reading. Currently, these are $150. This is also going up. Everything's going to go up, guys, relatively soon. But you can order any crypto or ticker symbol. You just specify the decade that you're looking to do the prediction for, and specify the ticker or crypto. If it's crypto, it's helpful to actually put in the word crypto as well. Add to cart, $150. And those generally come out relatively soon, within the next week or so after they've been ordered. Anyhow, guys, that's the live stream, making up for yesterday. The next regularly scheduled live stream is going to be on Sunday, between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern. However, I may be able to hop on, like last week I hopped on Thursday. I may be able to hop on midweek at some point. We'll see how things go. Look out for that. I'll put that in the Discord channel when there's a live stream coming out, I announce it here in the live streams in the public Discord. So look out for that, guys. And much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my angel investors. You guys literally are the ones holding up the world from pure wickedness. Like you, the few integrity-filled individuals of the world, they balance out all of the evil in the world, and there's so much of it. So bless your soul if you're one of those people. Much love and appreciation. I'll see you guys on the next one.